All right, so where's the shroud been? Obviously in Jerusalem. That's where it starts. We think after the Roman war with the people there in 70 AD, it was whisked out of town for safekeeping to Edessa, Turkey, which is now Urfa, U-R-F-A, and was there from 70 to 944. Now, there's a lot of reasons we're going to explain why, but nobody was taking pictures and proving it, and it wasn't shown to the public. So why would the apostles take an endearing relic of Jesus' crucifixion and show it to the public? Somebody would destroy it, somebody would steal it. So it was in secret until about 500, 600, when artists would come in. It was under the control of the kings, and artists would come in and draw pictures of it. So you're going to see the pictures. All right, so we have that. We have information that it was in Constantinople. I'll prove that to you. Then our guess is from 1204 to 1355, the Knights Templar were in charge of it, because that's all the hidden years where we have no idea where it was. It just shows up in Liray, France in 1355. So 1204 to 1355, our guess it's a Knights Templar. And there's some little things along the way that may show that historically, but we don't have time for that. I could talk for 6 hours. All right, so it shows up in Liray, France, and there it's in white because it's documented, because hundreds of thousands of people were shown the thing, and they wrote about it. So that definitely is proof that was there. Then it makes its way to Turin, Italy, where it's been since 1578. All right, so now we're going to go along the way of history, and we're going to show the little way we can prove it without having anything other than pictures. Painted human pictures done by humans. All right, so the time of Edessa, 70 to 944 AD. So what do we have? We have mosaics. And these mosaics are that time frame, right around 500. And you can see the image of Christ with a long nose, a long hair, the beard, changes from the pre-525, when the shroud wasn't in exhibition. So all the years before, the public thought Jesus was a young guy, no beard, no mustache, clean shaven. All of a sudden, at 525, 550 AD, these things appear. So we think they appear because the king at the time said, we're going to have exhibitions. Now, we're going to talk about this one because this is a 550 AD painting that has almost exact duplicate measurements, what's called points of congruence, from the shroud face. All right, so what is a point of congruence? So if you measure distance on the painting between eye, pupil to pupil, if you measure length of nose, if you measure lip to tip of nose, width of mouth, and you put the shroud right on top of it, it's exactly the same measurement. So nobody painted this picture out of his brain, out of his memory, out of his creation. He was looking at the shroud, and he was one heck of an exact painter. Do you get my point, right? All right. And this was done in 550 AD. It is exactly 120 points of congruence if you add them all up. He was looking at the shroud. All right? So that's where it was up to 944. 944, the king of Constantinople, Istanbul is a modern name. 944, wanted the shroud. He sent an army over to Edessa and he took it. Give me the shroud or I will kill everybody in your city. So then Constantinople became the owners of the shroud, 944 to 1204. Now, why do we think it's in Constantinople? Because there's a painting. And Bridget and I, when we went to Budapest, saw this painting. So in this painting, it dates to 1196, the time it was in Constantinople, the shroud. And it has details that are just impossible for a human to come up with. The painter didn't come up with this. It's because he's looking at the details of the shroud. So let's go over it. So here we have Good Friday. The body's being anointed incorrectly. I don't think they did it on Good Friday. Father Stephen can help me with that, but I kind of think they were a little late, so they didn't do it. But anyway, that's the painting. And then Easter Sunday, there's no body. The shroud's there, and the women come to, I guess, anoint him again. But he's not there, all right? So it's very strange that this is exactly the right thing that the shroud shows. So let me show you the crazy findings that didn't happen by accident. So why did this painter decide to draw Jesus' hands with no thumbs, because the Shroud of Turin has no thumbs. The image of his thumbs are missing. I'm going to explain what happened, all right? We also have, he's nude again, so why did he do that? The arms are crossed the same. The long hair is there. Now, he messed up on the beard. You can fight me on that one, all right? Now, you go to the second half of the painting on the lower side. The mathematics of this being a fake is astronomical. This is a herringbone weave, but look at the 4 burn holes that the man put in the drawing. L-shaped 4 circles. How come it matches the shroud, L-shaped 4 circles, so perfectly? How did he invent that out of the clear blue sky? How did he invent no thumb? All right, so I'm convinced that was not an accident. He was looking at the shroud. And there's Bridget and I, September 2018, looking at this Hungarian Prey manuscript. So then it travels on and ends up in where it is now in Turin, Italy. And it was owned by all the kings of Savoy, not the Catholic Church, not the Pope, the kings of Italy for 405 years. Finally, the last king of Italy that had power gave it to the Pope, 1983, willed it to the sitting Pope. So it's just passed on as ownership, Pope to Pope. This is where it is, St. John the Baptist Cathedral. And you can only see it when there's an exhibition, which is about every 15 to 20 years. So it's in right now, a bomb-proof case. Argon gas fills it, not oxygen, because it oxidizes the blood and the color of it. And this is where you go to Turin, Italy now. You can see it behind a glass, kind of a bomb-proof glass, but what's bomb-proof glass anymore? But that's where it is. It's inside of this area with glass here. All right, now we're going to go into the science of what's there. The science starts in 1898, because photography is a science. It's a science of light and capturing light on a photographic chemical plate. All right, so this is the first time science was ever used on the shroud. So you took a picture. So to understand what you're going to see, you have to get a little review on photonegativity. All right, so when you, in the good old days, took your picture on film and took it to the pharmacy and got it developed, your picture came back, you dark, and the background light. Then you would get a print, and you would then be light, and the background would be dark. So this is a photographic negative, and this is a photographic positive. So let's go over to the medieval forger. To get all this right, and to create the image on the shroud as a photographic negative, knowing that in 1898 we would know how to do a photographic positive, he did this in the year 1200 when there was no photography. That's called a leap of faith. So this is the original photographic negative face of the man of the shroud. He is dark because the image is, quote unquote for now, burned on. Background, nothing. So this is a positive image, but because it's reversed, it acts like a negative. So when you go to the dark room and you put a negative of a negative, you get a positive, you get a human face. And that's what they got. So this should make you quite impressed compared to the one before. So this happened in 1898 and went all through the newspapers of the world. You can see teeth, mustache, lack of ears. Oh, he had no thumbs, he has no ears. Oh, he has no cheeks. The medieval painter, he forgot a lot. There's blood in his hair, so hair bleeds, that's interesting. All right, so I hate to be so sarcastic, but this is not a fake. So here we go, medieval fraud, 1290, before photography, photographic negative, photographic positive. All right, then in 1931 the camera gets better, and now you have tremendous detail. Now you can see real clear, except it's too far away, the no ears, the no cheeks, blood in the hair. You can see he died with an expansion of chest. He took a breath in and his heart stopped beating and he didn't breathe out. You can see the right-sided wound where the spear went in. You can see a bloated abdomen of a person who's breathing hard and swallowing air. You can see the nail in the wrist, not in the palm, but in the wrist. So physicians and everybody that has any knowledge of anatomy knows you can hang 90 pounds on one palm of hand nail and 90 pounds on the other palm of the hand nail. It has to go through the wrist or it won't support the body. So the shroud backs that up. The evidence says the nail was in the wrist, because that's where the position is. All right.